Now, the last weapon system we're going to talk about is my current one. You've seen it on the opening of the video. In America, I'm going to say it is the foundation weapon. It's the one that everything else is judged against. It's the AR-15. Small, pretty light, adaptable, great range, high capacity. Every category of this weapon's great. Derby tip. I'm not going to get into the exact numbers. There are only X number of companies that make receivers for AR-15s. There are only X number of companies that make barrels for AR-15s. There are a bunch of companies that sell receivers and barrels under their name. They're not made by them. I'm not going to give the exact number because that number does go up and down a little bit by 1 or 2 per year. There are differences in receivers. There are differences in barrels. You're going to have to research that. I'm not going to go into all those details. That would be a couple of different videos just on this gun, and that's not what this series is about. Some of the key things that determine the cost of an AR-15. When the people were calling in, were sending me messages and emails talking about how expensive AR-15s are. There's a couple of things that go into that. I'm going to tell you right now, this is not a high-end, what people would call a high-end one. This one's under $1,500. And it came exactly like you see it, minus the scope. There are options, damn near unlimited options for AR-15s. Getting an AR-15 as a sports shooter is like getting a Jeep or a Harley-Davidson. There's always more options you can add to it. This one's fairly simple. It had what I wanted when I bought it. One of the options is the dust cover. I wanted the dust cover because of the environment I live in. The other one that it had is the, I don't know if I can do this back, there we go. It has the extendable butt stock on it, so I can adjust it. It came with that. I tried pop-up sights, but I'm getting older and I'm having more trouble seeing, just being honest here. So I went to a scope. In all the categories we've talked about, ammo's a little expensive. I say it's a little expensive. It depends on what you get. Oh, I think I skipped a part. When I was starting to talk about some of the key things that affect the price is A, brand name, B, who made the receiver and who made the barrel, and C, the other little options that go on it. There's an unlimited number of forends, there's an unlimited number of grips, there's an unlimited number of butt stocks, dust covers, scopes, mounting rails. All of those things are what make the price of an AR-15 just jump radically around. It's pretty much the accessories that go on it. The receiver and the barrel, they're fairly standard. And let's get real about it here. This is not a Hollywood show here. All that we really care about is the receiver and the barrel. The part that makes the bullet go bang and the part that sends it down range. All this other stuff is just personal choice. Right down to what kind of, if you have a sling or what type of sling you like. I obviously went with the type that I was used to. All the categories that we've talked about so far for the size of carrying ammo, cost of ammo, the size of the weapon, the capabilities of the weapon, this is the hallmark. There are better weapons out there than this. There are so many more that are worse than this. For the price point, you're not going to, I don't think you're going to touch all the positives to this. And like I said just a second ago, you can make this into anything you want. You can start with a base unit and just keep improving it. You don't have to start out with a $4,000 AR-15. You can start out with a $1,000 AR-15 or even a $600 or $800 AR-15 and start changing the components on it as you get the money to do it. Obviously, in the video you saw at the beginning, I use a chest rig. I'm not going to put it back on. I think we talked about it in one of the other videos too. Every one of these magazines, this is doubled and this is doubled. That's 30 rounds each. So, you know, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, plus the one that's in it. I do not use the metal ones. I use the P-Mags. Spend a little extra money for those. I just like them better. Mine have the windows in them so I can see the ammo. Very quick to reload, very quick to fire. Everybody knows an AR-15. Everybody's seen them, heard all the bad things on the news about the AR-15. Here's the key to it though, my opinion. Here's the key to it though. For when the sirens stop, this is the weapon I want. No ifs, ands, or buts. For urban, woods, brush country, it doesn't matter. This is the weapon that I want. This is the weapon I have, and this is the weapon I'll use. And I have the full setup the way I want it now. It took me years to get to that point, to finally decide that's what I wanted. It took me years to get all the stuff put together the way I want it. And I went through stages. Actually, I went through more stages than I've shown you here today. Today, what I was showing you is just a cross section to kind of answer the questions I've been getting about, or the comments I got about, well, if you have unlimited money, you can do whatever you want to. This system that I'm wearing now, everything that I have here, probably $2,000. Yeah, I would say right around $2,000. That's expensive for a lot of people. It's expensive for us. And I had to do it in pieces and parts as I went along until I got it built the way I wanted it. I would not have a problem in the world with grabbing my shot. If I couldn't get to this or whatever the case may be, I wouldn't have a problem in the world with loading the ammo into that vest. The shotgun vest I show you normally doesn't have ammo sitting in it. I wouldn't have a problem in the world with loading it up, and I've got ammo boxes full of brand new rounds, about 12 gauge, probably 1,000 rounds. I think I have 1,000 rounds for that. Loading up that vest, throwing my stuff in it, and taking off and using that as my weapon. I certainly would not have a problem taking the SK. I certainly wouldn't have a problem with taking the Mosin Nagant. The Mosin Nagant would be at the bottom of that list, but like I said, the Mosin Nagant's getting set up for something different now, and that's why I built the rig I built for it, and kept it simple and everything off the stomach and off the back so I can lay down. It is going to be converted into a straight up sniper rifle. When people see the opening of this video and hear comments and see me doing things with this system, understand you don't have to have this system. Understand that one of the reasons I'm not going to try to teach any small arms combat or anything like that is because, like I said in I think it was the original video, that's like watching a video on how to swim. You got to get in the water to do it. You need to be out practicing with your weapons. You have to be competent with them. I take all of these weapons that are mine that I show you, I take them out and I practice. We have the second thing we built. Let me cover this. First thing that got built on the land was the barn. The very next thing that got built on the land was the shooting range. That's how important it is. We built the shooting range second. Before there were any cabins, anything up there, we built the shooting range so we could practice with our weapons. You've got to. It's just like any other subject, whether you're talking about playing guitar or bushcrafting or anything, any kind of skill, you've got to practice, you've got to stay competent with it. And you really need to try to strive to improve. So we built that so we could practice as much as we wanted to, anytime we wanted to. Do you need to have this weapon? No. Any of those weapons I showed you will get the job done. Do you want to end up with this weapon? I don't know. That's up to you. Maybe you want to be a shotgun guy. Maybe you want to be an SK guy, an AK guy, a Mosin Nagant guy. There's so many choices out there. But what I want to show you here today was a cross section. I have all these rigs set up. I have all these rigs ready to go. Just because on the video where I'm up to now in my life is the weapon that I want and the chest rig that I want, doesn't mean I started there. I was prepared long before I got to this point. I was prepared, well actually before I ever got out of the Navy I had weapons and different things. I was prepared back then 20 years ago. And over time, it's just kind of changed and morphed and worked its way along until I got up to this. At the beginning of this video, I said it doesn't matter what you think about guns. It matters what the people that are after your stuff think about them. It doesn't matter what you can afford now. If you put your mind to it, and I'm not going to tell anybody their business, I don't know you people or your finances, but if you put your mind to it, you can get a rig set up at any level you want to. All you need to be able to do is protect you and yours, and carry enough ammo to make sure that you can do a prolonged, well, we'll call it what it is, a prolonged fight. We're gonna talk about that subject on another video about getting into this, getting into conflict with people and situations. I have some very definite opinions on it. But for now, you've seen from a single action revolver all the way up to the AR-15 decked out. There are choices. You're going to have to make your decision on what you want and what you can afford. Until next time, start preparing.